The idea of a hypothesis test for paired population means. A hypothesis test for paired population means, sometimes called a paired t-test, is used when you have a single population but two separate measurements for the group. The characteristic that you are measuring is quantitative, that is numerical, and you want to know if the averages or means of the two measurements are the same or different. Here's the general idea of the test. Step 1. Collect data by recording the two measurements for each member of the sample. Step 2. Compute the two sample means. Each sample mean estimates the population mean of that measurement. Step 3. Compare the sample means. If the sample means are too far away from each other, taking into account standard deviation and sample size, we conclude that the population means are probably different. That is, the difference observed between the sample means is so large that it is unlikely that the population means could be the same. On the other hand, if the sample means are fairly close together, again considering standard deviation and sample size, we conclude that there is no evidence that the population means are different. Or put another way, we conclude that the population means could be equal and that the difference we observed in the sample means could just be due to sampling error. Note that this test is technically conducted by computing the difference between each pair of measurements in the sample, calculating the sample mean of these differences, comparing this sample mean difference to 0, and rejecting the null if the sample mean difference is too far from 0, again taking into account standard deviation and sample size. However, the idea is the same. Generally speaking, if the sample measurements are too far away from each other, on average, then we conclude that the population mean measurements are probably not equal.
Created using Powtoon.